The Middle East, a region synonymous with volatility, ancient grudges, and the ever-present threat of conflict. At the heart of this powder keg lies the complex and deeply rooted animosity between Israel and Iran, two nations locked in a dangerous dance of brinkmanship. Their rivalry, fueled by ideological differences, political ambitions, and proxy wars, has kept the world on edge for generations. The situation in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for global oil transport, remained a flashpoint, with Iranian naval forces frequently harassing commercial vessels. Meanwhile, Israel conducted covert operations to sabotage Iran's nuclear program, convinced that the Islamic Republic posed an existential threat. The drums of war were beating louder, and soon the world would bear witness to a dramatic escalation in the conflict, one that would test the limits of diplomacy and redefine the balance of power in the Middle East. To understand the events of October 2024, one must delve into the historical tapestry of the Israeli-Iranian conflict. The roots of this rivalry can be traced back to the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran, which saw the overthrow of the pro-Western Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and the rise of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Khomeini's revolutionary government withdrew recognition of Israel and declared its support for Palestinian armed groups. The rivalry intensified after the 2003 US-led invasion of Iraq, which removed Saddam Hussein, a common enemy of both Israel and Iran, from power. Israel, viewing Iran's growing regional clout with alarm, responded with covert operations, sabotage, and targeted assassinations of key Iranian nuclear scientists. As the years passed, the conflict took on a new dimension with the emergence of the Iranian nuclear program. The Middle East, a region accustomed to conflict, held its breath as October 2024 dawned. The air crackled with tension, a palpable sense of foreboding settling over the region. Reports emerged of a series of explosions at a suspected Iranian missile facility near the city of Isfahan. While the exact cause of the blast remained shrouded in mystery, fingers immediately pointed towards Israel. Iran, outraged by the attack, vowed swift and decisive retaliation, its rhetoric echoing with threats of vengeance. The world watched with bated breath, fearing that a tit-for-tat escalation could quickly spiral out of control, dragging the region into yet another devastating conflict. Israel, a nation forged in conflict and acutely aware of its precarious geopolitical reality, has long prioritized military strength as a cornerstone of its national security doctrine. Over the decades, the Israel Defense Forces have evolved into one of the most technologically advanced and battle-hardened militaries in the world. At the heart of Israel's military prowess lies its air power, a force to be reckoned with in the Middle East and beyond. The Israeli Air Force, often referred to as the Eagles of Zion, has a long and storied history. Having played a decisive role in every major conflict Israel has fought since its founding in 1948. The backbone of the IAF's fighter fleet is composed of American-made F-15 Eagles and F-16 Fighting Falcons, heavily modified and upgraded with Israeli avionics and weapon systems. The crown jewel of the IAF is undoubtedly the F-35I Adir, a fifth-generation stealth fighter acquired from the United States. Section 5, Operation Retribution Israeli Airstrikes. The world held its breath as news broke of the explosions at the Iranian missile facility near Isfahan. Speculation ran rampant, but few doubted Israel's involvement. Deep within the Negev desert at a heavily fortified airbase, Israeli pilots received their orders. Operation Retribution was a go. Under the cover of darkness, waves of Israeli fighter jets roared into the night sky, their afterburners illuminating the desert like shooting stars. Guided by advanced intelligence and employing a combination of precision-guided munitions and standoff missiles, the Israeli Air Force targeted Iranian weapons depots, command and control centers, and training camps. Section 6. The sleeping giant stirs Iran's response. The morning sun cast a long shadow over the smoldering ruins of Iranian military installations across Syria. The Islamic Republic, caught off guard by the ferocity and precision of the attack, reeled from the blow, its pride wounded, its regional ambitions dealt a significant setback. The Iranian leadership, long accustomed to dictating the terms of engagement in its shadow war with Israel, found itself in an unfamiliar position on the defensive. Despite its vast military and its arsenal of ballistic missiles, the Islamic Republic lacked the conventional military might to directly confront Israel on a level playing field. A direct military confrontation with Israel risked dragging the United States and its regional allies into the fray, a scenario that could quickly escalate into a devastating regional war with catastrophic consequences for Iran. Section 7. A mismatched battleground, comparing capabilities. The Israeli-Iranian conflict, while often portrayed as a clash of titans, is in reality a highly asymmetrical affair. Israel, with its small but highly trained and technologically advanced military, holds a decisive edge in air power, intelligence gathering, and cyber warfare. The Israel Defense Forces, forged in the crucible of numerous conflicts and constantly engaged in low-intensity warfare against various adversaries, are among the most battle-hardened and experienced in the world. The Israeli Air Force, equipped with a modern fleet of fighter jets, attack helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles, enjoys a qualitative and quantitative advantage over its regional rivals, including Iran. Iran, on the other hand, boasts a larger but less technologically advanced military, with a greater emphasis on ground forces and asymmetric warfare capabilities. Section 8. The world reacts. International condemnation and diplomacy. The world watched with a mixture of alarm and resignation as the Israeli-Iranian conflict escalated, threatening to plunge the already volatile Middle East into a deeper abyss of violence and instability. The international community, caught in the crossfire of this dangerous rivalry, scrambled to contain the crisis, urging both sides to exercise restraint and seek a diplomatic solution. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency meeting to address the escalating situation. The United States, a staunch ally of Israel, expressed strong support for its right to self-defense while also calling for de-escalation. European leaders, while condemning the violence, urged both sides to return to the negotiating table, emphasizing the need for a diplomatic solution to the crisis. Section 9. A humanitarian catastrophe unfolds. As the Israeli-Iranian conflict raged on, a humanitarian catastrophe unfolded in its wake, a tragic reminder of the human cost of war and the indiscriminate nature of violence. The conflict, while primarily a military confrontation between two regional powers, had devastating consequences for innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. In Syria, where the brunt of the Israeli airstrikes was felt, years of civil war had already left the country's infrastructure in ruins and its population on the brink of despair. The Israeli attacks, while targeting Iranian military installations, often resulted in collateral damage, destroying homes, hospitals, and schools, and displacing thousands of civilians already struggling to survive. International aid organizations struggled to provide relief to those affected by the conflict, facing immense challenges in accessing conflict zones and delivering essential goods and services. Section 10. The long shadow of conflict, uncertainty, and future implications. As the guns fell silent and the dust settled, the Middle East was left grappling with the aftermath of the October 2024 Israeli-Iranian conflict. The conflict, while relatively short-lived, had far-reaching consequences, reshaping the geopolitical landscape and casting a long shadow of uncertainty over the region's future. The most immediate consequence of the conflict was a further erosion of trust between Israel and Iran. pushing the two adversaries further apart and dimming any hopes for a negotiated settlement to their long-standing rivalry. The conflict also highlighted the limitations of diplomacy and the international community's inability to effectively address the root causes of conflict in the region. The path forward remained unclear, fraught with uncertainty and the potential for renewed conflict.